Oh.
It's something.
Oh.
Hey, Cole. Alrighty, to my friends, in a little Lituri forest, home to a lot of Africa's more shy, more reclusive animals. Alright, so as we get down here, looks like the first animal we're gonna see is out there on your right. You kind of find that pair of black and white striped party pants. Those zebra-looking legs will belong to the okapi, the closest living relative there is to a giraffe. We do know they are so closely related for a couple different reasons. Mostly it's because of the shape of their skull and their prehensile tongue. The prehensile tongue is just a really fancy way of saying their tongue is super strong and super long. They will use it just like a giraffe would to wrap around branches, pulling out the leaves, as well as cleaning out their eyes, ears, and nose. Normally they are a very shy animal that lives really deep in the forest, so they were not discovered by the western half of the world until 1901, and up until that year they were thought of to be a complete and utter myth. Now as we head deeper into the forest, we can maybe look for a few forest antelopes that might be out today. Out here, the animal's main form of protection is all the thick and dense vegetation. They blend in pretty good with most of it. It can be a little bit tricky to see. If you look over to your left side, laying down right up against that rock wall, there is a black rhino out there. Now typically a black rhino will weigh in between 3,000 and 4,000 pounds. However, for their size, they are a very fast animal. When they want to charge, they will charge at speeds of 35 miles per hour. Now, they're definitely not the most social rhino. They're usually going to be found alone. We are in luck though, once we head over to the east savannah, we can maybe find some white rhinos out there. They're a lot more social than a black rhino would be. We're about to head out of the forest and over to the Saco River next. Before we get there, there's one more animal we're going to pass by. Over on your left side, you're going to find these big black and white birds. These are the saddle-billed storks who stand at 5 feet tall with a wingspan of 9 feet. About side to side the canopy above you if you want a quick comparison for that. We do wait for life. It's very easy to tell the male and female apart. Just look at their eyes. The female, she will have these big bright yellow eyes, and the male desires like a dark brown, almost black color. So we are going to head over into the Saco River. The water out here is usually pretty clear, so if you're going to take a look anywhere, I would definitely suggest looking to the bottom of the river. We could maybe see someone running around down there today. As we get down here, if you look to your right in that far right corner, there are a couple hippos that are in the water on that far right side. Now hippos, they are mostly pure muscle and have been known to weigh as much as 9,000 pounds. So rather than swimming in the river, they tend to run and jog along the bottom. Also, right are the pink-backed pelicans that are out. But if you want to look to your left side, you're going to see a few more hippos, like 4 or 5 of them here. They're called a float when they're all together. Hippos are all super fond of their rivers and don't love to leave them. If they do, it's usually because they're looking for food. They will venture as far as 6 miles to find that. And they are herbivores, so will mostly eat aquatic plants and grasses. Now, if you didn't know, hippos, they are actually the closest relative there is to a whale. Alright, now coming up just around this curve, we are about to head over Croc Bridge. Now out here, we call it Croc Bridge because if you look to your left, you're going to find some Nile crocodiles. They are the largest crocodilian species in Africa. They weigh in at 500 pounds and they grow to be between 16 all the way up to 20 feet. It's about the same length as a giraffe is tall. Now, a really interesting thing about them is they can eat as much as half of their body weight in one single sitting. They mostly eat fish, but they're not picky eaters. They're very opportunistic hunters that will have one of the strongest bite forces out there at 2,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. But when they want to, they can still be very gentle. After they lay their eggs, both the mothers and fathers take turns rolling them around within their teeth. It helps to soften the shells of their eggs to be pretty much effortless for them to eventually hatch. On the other end of the hills, where we are going to head into the savannah, the largest portion of the reserve. But before we get out there, on your right, you're going to find a big leafless tree. It's called a baobab. It's the same one that Rafiki lives in The Lion King. They all have a really cool nickname as well. They're called the Tree of Life because they can hold 32,000 gallons of water in their sponge-like trunks at once. Now as we get down here into the savannah, I'll let you know it is split into two halves. This side is the western portion. It's a lot more open grasslands. Animals here will really rely on numbers to stay well protected, so we're gonna find a few different groups that might be at home. Over on your right side, the really small, like s'mores colored antelope in the shade are the springbok. They are in the top 10 fastest land animal. They will run at speeds of 60 miles per hour. And they get their name because when they get a little frightened, they tend to spring about 6 feet up into the air. And most of those back there, they were most adults. They only get around 3 feet tall. Now over here we are going to find another very cool predator. They're on your left. There are some back in this left corner. Looks like somewhere up in that rock den. There is a pack of African painted dogs that are out here. These painted dogs, they are some of the most successful hunters, not only in Africa, but the entire world. They have an average hunting success rate of between 80 to 90%. Now the packs out in the wild do get to be pretty big, around 30 members, and they're led by an alpha male and an alpha female. A couple more species we're going to find are also over on our left. Now here with these massive horns are the Ankoli cattle. Tip to tip, those horns are 8 feet in length, but they're very light. They weigh just under 10 pounds, mostly hollow on the inside. And back behind them with the backwards horns are the sable antelope. I'm not going to say too much about them, but I will mention that they are the symbol of our reserve, seeing as they tend to go head to head and fight with predators rather than running away. There's not a whole lot of fear in them. Now before we can maybe find some more animals, these weird rock things we're passing are the termite mounds. They're made out of spit, mud, and dung, and after they have been baked in the hot African sun, they turn to be as hard as concrete. Since it gets so strong and so tall, elephants like to use them as scratching posts. They'll rub up all against them, wear down over time. Alright, now it looks like we are going to come across a giraffe that's coming out today. As you finish making this turn, it's going to be over across the savannah on your right. Now the one that we're seeing out there is a Maasai giraffe. It's the world's tallest land animal, with some adults that stand as high as 20 feet. So though they are very fast, just like that black rhino, giraffes will charge at speeds of 35 miles per hour. Hopefully we can find a few more, and if we're lucky with one of them, we can maybe see his tongue. They're the same prehensile one that I talked about with the okapi. What's so cool about it is the color of their tongue. It's like a dark blue, deep purple. Because their tongue is going to have a lot of extra melanin in it to help protect it from sunlight. Now, also really fast before I continue talking about the giraffe, we're going to find a very cool antelope out over on your right. This big tan one is an eland. Now they are kind of funny. Male elands during mating season, when they're trying to attract a mate, they like to decorate their horns. If you maybe come out here at the right time, you can see the male walking around with a whole plant just on top of his head, with like roots and everything with that most days. Okay, there's a couple quick things with the giraffe. If you guys ever have the opportunity to observe them for a longer period of time, you're going to see they will spend most of their day eating. They all have a really big appetite, and giraffes will eat for 22 hours a day. Though it doesn't give them long to rest, they only get 30 minutes of sleep on a daily basis, and they break their time up into many 5-minute power naps. You can see a second giraffe is out over there on your left. You can just see the top half of its neck. Also, really cool thing guys came out today. On your right, we're going to see a mother and baby zebra that are here. You're going to find mom on the left side of the path, baby on the right, as well as some wildebeest back behind them. That baby is just under 2 months old. It's one of the newest residents that are out here. These are the Hartman's mountain zebra. They're a very cool species. Because we can see at the bottom of their necks, they have a little flabby piece of skin that hangs down. That's called the dewlap, and they're able to regulate their body temperatures through their dewlaps using thermoregulation. As we head past the zebras and giraffes, we're going to head into elephant territory.
Oh my god.
Coming up, we're going to see an African elephant. It's the world's largest land animal, with some adults that will weigh as much as 15,000 pounds. The elephant's going to be walking away from us over on your right across the water. back, you can see a lot of dirt and stuff covering it. That stuff will act as a natural sunblock. They have some very sensitive skin. It's a big reason why elephants, they will prefer the rain and very cloudy days to be more active in. And we are going to slowly make our way over to the other end of their territory, trying to find a couple more that may be out there. Are quite a few of them out here. But in the meantime, though, there is a very cool conservation project surrounding them that I love talking about. It's called the Elephants and the Bees Project. That started over in Kenya quite a few years ago. Farmers out there were having a lot of difficulties with local herds of elephants running all over their crops. They couldn't grow much and make a lot of money. So instead of resorting to poaching the elephants who control the herds, which unfortunately they often are, it's a big reason why their numbers have declined in the past. Instead of doing that, it was discovered as big as an elephant is, they are terrified of bees and will run away at the sight of them. So farmers found this out and they would start to put up beehive fences all over their property. It keeps those elephants away while still protecting the herds and the crops, but it gives them a second form of income as well. They can then sell the honey from the hives. So it's a really nice example of some coexistence between us as humans and nature. It's a really big and also really popular conservation project out there. Now before we are able to find any more elephants, we do need to go by a very important food source for them. Now this stuff all around us is red clay. Elephants eat this almost daily. It's like a multivitamin for them. On your right, you can see some of their tusk marks in that clay. Now if we're going to see more elephants out, they're going to be on our left side somewhere. I haven't seen any just yet. So the one that we just saw back there very first, that was probably a male. Usually it's very easy to tell them apart. Just take a look at how solitary they are. In a herd of elephants, they are led by a matriarch. She is in charge of what the herd does, where they go, and what they do. But once she decides that she's had enough of the boys, she will chase them out of their herds. Usually it's in their early teens, sometimes as early as 10, she will chase them out, while the females stay in those herds from birth, never ever leaving them. But there are a couple of them coming out. I think I saw 3, maybe 4 of them. They're probably going to be females over here. Again, they're a nice little group. Now also down here by the water, we are going to pass by one of the pools they sometimes like to swim in. They're usually going to do it, especially during the rain, again, very cloudy days when they're more active. Elephants love the water, and from what's been reported, they can swim as far as 50 miles without any breaks. I see I can find 4 of them out here on your left. Also out here on our left, so we are going to be passing by a flamboyant flamingo. These are the greater flamingo, the largest type, standing just shy of 5 feet tall. But when it comes to their species, they are the lightest in shade of pink. After they're hatched, they're normally a dark white, almost gray color. But as they get older and they get bigger, their pink coloration comes from one of the proteins found in the microscopic brine chip in their diet. Usually it'll take somewhere around 2 years for them to start getting that really nice pink color after they're hatched. Now right over here is where we head into the eastern savanna. It's a lot more thick vegetation, very similar to Little Italy Forest. Over here is also where we're going to find some of those white rhinos today. And if we find one, we're probably going to find a few more not too far away. They're really social with their own species called the crash of rhinos. You're going to see there are, looks like, 3, 4, maybe 5 of them laid out there on your left side. Now fully grown, the adult white rhino, they can be double the size of the black rhino that we already saw, weighing as much as 3 tons. So they're very fast, charging at 28 miles per hour. The white rhino specifically, they all like to shape their own horns really fast. We're going to continue that. If you look to your right, at the very end of the path, there's an ostrich that is walking around. Check that out really fast. And now back over to these rhinos. So like I said, the white rhinos specifically, they all like to shape their own horns. They'll usually rub them on some rocks, maybe some trees. They're all really unique and really different. That's not only a white rhino will do. Black rhinos are not bothered doing any of that. Now the one right there in the middle with his head up, that is actually one of the adolescent rhinos that are out here. Now there are 3 baby rhinos here in total. They're part of a species survival program, where we're trying to get their numbers safely and steadily increased. Thankfully it's working. In recent years, the white rhino has been lifted off of the critically endangered list, and they're slowly making a beautiful comeback. But also on your left, up in that back left corner, you can see a little bit, there is a cheetah that is walking around. It's kind of between those two skinny trees. See, standing up. The cheetah is the world's fastest land animal. They will reach speeds of 70 miles per hour in just 3 seconds, and they can maintain that for around 100 yards at a time. There was a second one that was laying down out there with it. They're called a coalition of cheetahs, and they're in pairs and groups. We're coming up on 2 more. They're a little bit easier seeing over on your left side. Sorry, 3 more down here. Now the cheetah as a species, they have a very big misconception about them. It's that they're big cats. They're actually not. They don't have that title. Big reason is because cheetahs hunt during the day. Those dark spots all over their coat help them blend in with the savannah, which is why they are excellent day hunters. But another reason being is they don't roar. Instead, they are still going to purr and chirp to communicate with one another. Their chirp is a very interesting sound. It sounds like something between a bird's call and a dog's bark. It's a little weird, but it's really easy to label as a cheetah. But someone here who can absolutely roar is the lions that are out on your left side. You can see that male with that big fluffy mane. And that lioness, she's right above me. You see her ears are just barely pointed up. These lions are absolutely big cats that can roar. Their roar can be heard from as far as 6 miles away. So if you guys were over in Magic Kingdom at Cinderella's castle, if there was no noise, you could hear them roaring from these rocks. That mane on his neck alone will weigh as much as 40 pounds. And if you guys have, by chance, seen the live action version of The Lion King, Simba was based off of that guy right there. And then that lioness, she and many others like her, are the ones in the pride that are going to go out and do the hunting. While the male, it is his job to stay back to protect the territory and any cubs that the pride may have, so they can stay home down in the group. It's very nice we got to see them out today all. They're normally a really sleepy animal that sleeps around 20 hours daily. Now coming up over on our left, there are 3 warthogs. They're laying down right by that tree in the middle. They kind of look like rocks out there in the dirt. The warthog is the largest burrowing mammal in Africa, and I like to consider them to be the recyclers of nature, seeing as they will reuse other animals' burrows rather than digging their own. Now back here, we saw the ostrich. Maybe find it one more time. Nah, but real quick, the ostrich that we saw earlier, they are the world's largest bird. Males will stand as high as 9 feet and weighing at 300 pounds. They still got quite a bit of height on us, so we're only about 7 feet up as it is. If you take a look out there to your right, on the right side of the little dirt path, you're going to find a bunch of ostrich eggs that are on the ground. There's like 5 or 6 of them out there. And just one of those eggs will weigh the same weight as 24 chicken eggs, and they are very strong. Honestly, a full-grown man can stand right on top of the egg. It's still not going to crack. We are headed out the savannah, and our next stop is the Magadi Glen with the Warden's Post. It's the last stop in our safari before we'll head back to the village. If you guys remember, back in the western savannah, we found the Ankoli cattle. They have those really big horns. I don't think I mentioned it, but they are actually one of 2 domesticated species. They call this reserve their home. Over here at the Warden's Post, where we are going to find the other ones, be the last animal we'll see out here for the day. On your left side, they are the Nigerian dwarf goats. They're very playful and very social. It's just they can establish some good bonds and hierarchies within their societies. Now, very similar to a cow, these goats are going to have a ruminant digestive tract with 4 different stomach compartments, so they can definitely digest a lot more different plants and weeds that other animals probably couldn't. If you do like them and would like to see them one more time today, if you head over to Rafiki's Planet Watch, there is a petting zoo out there with some awesome Nigerian dwarf goats, as well as a few other species that all make up the affection section. There's an animation experience and an insider's look at the animal hospital and nutrition centers out there as well. It's just a quick 5-minute train ride to the conservation station. Trains come and go every 5 to 7 minutes, and the last train is departing at 4:30 today. Now friends, the time has come. We're going to head back to the village, and our safari is coming to a close. I am bringing you to the same dock picture up, as it can be just a little bit of a drive to get back out there. So hang tight and comfortable, probably won't be too long for us. our dock, there are a couple more things you guys can check out with different live animals else in the park if you don't want to go on safaris again. Two of which are the walking trails that are out here. First one is in the village of Harambe. It's called the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. Out there is a beautiful family of gorillas. There is a bird aviary and a reptile house, as well as an underwater viewing area for hippos. And over in Asia, if you